I'm noticing a trend here. How come, nobody's playing with the Lakers now? Nobody wants to sign.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
What do you mean, Jonas?
I'm looking around. I see DeMar DeRozan is the latest. I'm seeing Klay Thompson. Now I know why. Everyone was trying to feed you these garbage stories about, the father, son, the last name. No, the reason why they drafted Bronny James because they couldn't get anybody else to play with him. So I think that's really the reason here, because it looks like whatever the plan was going into this offseason, everybody's going elsewhere. Everybody's going elsewhere, and now Bronny James has got a swollen knee and was kept out of the second NBA Summer League game, and then he had, LaVar was blown away with his 2-for-9 shooting in his first Summer League game.
No, that was Q. Q was blown away. He said he looked amazing out there in text chat.
I was being sarcastic.
Okay, I didn't know because you never responded back. I was like, are you being serious or?
I watched it. He struggled, which that's nothing new if you've seen his game. But look, he's a young player. He's got time to develop. He needs to be out there playing, though. It's tough when you're not healthy. You can't be out there getting better. But he was exactly what he was defined to be as a prospect. He struggled shooting. I mean, he couldn't even make a couple free throws. But you saw, the way, at least athletically, how he can attack, how he'll try to play defense. The problem is the more time we see him, especially in, defensively speaking, he's going to struggle. He's going to struggle being able to switch on screens because he can't match up with guys who are going to be 7, 8, 9, 10 inches taller than him. And that's unfortunately the position that he's going to be in often, being 6'1.5" or whatever he was at the NBA Combine.
Yeah, he moved around pretty good. He just couldn't make a shot. And maybe that's nerves. He missed some free throws. I mean, listen, we've gotten through the initial, he's gotten drafted. Everybody falls on their certain sides of it. I've gotten attacked for saying what I've said about it. If you say, if you say anything outside of it's a great pick at 55, that you're a hater. And not only did I get he's a hater, but I guess I am not as good a dad as LeBron is, and my son isn't as good a player as Bronny is. I've gotten it all. I got it all, which is okay. It's okay. I don't have any malice in my heart or any type of hate towards LeBron James or Bronny James. I just felt like, honestly speaking, if we're shooting straight, I think we all know what the storyline is, and that's connected to the draft. Now, fast forward to the Summer League, there were questions as to whether he was going to even participate, which would make it a first ever in the history of the Summer League that a draftee did not participate, but he did. So they got one game out of the way. So regardless of a banged up knee or whatever it may be as to why he may not play again or play at all the rest of the Summer League, he knocked down one game. Let's say that. His movement was good. It did not look as though he did not belong. He looked like which I didn't think initially, seeing him out there, that he would look like he belonged in an NBA uniform. I was wrong. He looked like he belonged. It just looked as though he had, and be clear, more than any other rookie out there, name one rookie that had the weight of the world of their shoulders that Bronny James did going into their first Summer League game. So, I mean, if you expected him to be a world beater going into it with the type of pressure he's had on him, that would have been best case scenario. Worst case scenario, maybe he misses all his shots. Okay scenario, meaning, it wasn't a failure. It wasn't a great success. It just wasn't a failure either, was what he did, which is that should be on par for what it was, and good for him. He's out of the gates. He's out of the block.
So LeBron spoke recently with David McMenamin, the Lakers reporter, and just kind of, according to his dad, Bronny doesn't share the same feelings about criticism that his dad once did.
I don't know if people really understand Bronny. He doesn't care. I actually cared a little bit when I came in. I wanted people to like me, and some of the things that people were saying about me, it kind of bothered me early on in my career. I let it get to me. Bronny doesn't give a He doesn't. He does not care about nobody's He doesn't even listen to that stuff. He's like the complete opposite of his dad. His dad will say something.
Yeah.
Bronny does not care. Like me personally, when I was coming up, I had no choice. I literally had no choice. I had to make it out.
That's the key.
Like I had no choice. I had to make it out for me, my mom, my family. Bronny has all the choices in the world. So it's like a whole nother, people don't understand how hard that is and the commitment. For him to be coming out of heart surgery less than a year ago, for him to be able to be in the NBA, the kid he's special, but he doesn't care. It doesn't bother him.
I dig where he's coming from. And for what it's worth, in 2024, I don't think that it's measured or weighed the same anymore in terms of haves and have-nots. A kid that has nothing and absolutely nothing and has to try to make it by playing basketball or playing a sport or whatever it may be versus a kid who comes from privilege and has it all and happens to have one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game on the planet as a father. I don't think, and Gilbert Arenas and a couple guys had this conversation before, I don't think that there's a discrepancy between the two, to be honest, other than if the kid that doesn't have anything going for himself in terms of family wealth and resources, they have to figure it out. But you know what? A kid like Bronny James, he has to figure it out if it doesn't go well at the same time. So they're both facing the same thing, which is themselves. You got to put in the work. Are you putting in the work? Are you getting the development? Are you being what you need to be? So I get where he's coming from. Man's a lot like that. Man doesn't care what people say. Man. He doesn't care what people say about him. I did. I cared about what people said. They said that I was undisciplined, or they said that I didn't study. It upset me. I was called an athlete much of my career. It upset me because it's like, why can't I gain and garner the respect of someone who's a student of the game? I was one of the biggest students of the game because I was a fan of the game. So I always wanted to understand it. So it bothered me when people said things about me. Man's like it is what it is. So I get where he's coming from, and I think a lot of that has to do with the way he's raised. He's raised by a guy that has gone through it at the upper level of it all, and now here they are. So I'm happy for him, though.
I think that's part of it. I think the other difference is, like, we grew up through an age where you didn't have it. The reality is today's athlete cannot hide from criticism because they're going to hop on social media. Everyone's got it. They've got to have it for marketing or business opportunities to connect to their fan base, whatever the case is.
Great point.
So you can't avoid it. And all of what you said is true. But I think on top of that, it's just the day and age for these athletes is they are so accustomed to the criticism that comes with the cesspool that is social media that they've got thicker skin. They're more callous than I think people realize because when we were coming up, man, like when social media came out, we're like, dude, where are all these guys talking trash? I want to fight them. Like that's the kind of reaction you had to it because it was so new to you. Mm-hmm. And granted, it was also probably back in the day and age where people did get in a lot of fights, but they kind of buried it. It wasn't as big of a deal. Nowadays, that there's like lawsuits involved, everything else. I just think it's a different era. It's a different era of athlete nowadays where they have to be able to be mentally tough enough to endure social media, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I'm talking about the negative of it, there's also the buildup where social media can build people up to be, the best of the best, the greatest ever, the GOAT, all those conversations over just one season. And you're like, no, wait a second. Like we've watched some of these guys in the past do it for a series of years. Tom Brady for 2 decades. So I think there's just a difference in the way younger athletes today now perceive themselves and social media and their own image. And I think they're just better mentally prepared for everything that being a professional athlete brings now. Even college, but that's kind of a professional athlete anyway.
Nowadays.
I mean, you just got to do what I do.
What's that?
All right. just have such a low opinion of yourself that whatever anybody else says.
That'd be $10.
Yeah, whatever. That's
That'd
nothing.
be $10.
That is that $10. That's the truth.
That's passive aggressive.
It's not passive aggressive. It's the truth.
You're putting yourself down, knowing that on the other side of it, you're like, man, I am the sexiest mofo alive.
You talking to me or Brady?
You.
Oh.
Brady is.
Oh.
You think you are.
Damn.
That's the difference.
I don't know why we go through these shenanigans.
It's all good, man.
I would also say I thought I was going to be interested in watching Bronny James actually play, and then I saw a couple of highlights. I mean, the fact they were able to find a couple of highlights is impressive.
Well,
but
you were
going
to get highlights. Come on.
I have no interest in watching him play in the summer league because I look at it like it's like a buddy that you know is not funny, and he tries stand-up comedy. Like he does an open mic night, and you're like, I don't even want to go because he's going to find out real quick he doesn't qualify to be on that stage. And, like, I don't want to watch him go through and struggle and take – because anybody that's got an issue with Bronny James has an issue with LeBron James. And that's really where this is coming from. And he's never done anything to where I'm like – well, yeah, like he went out and said, I should be a draft pick. I should be this. Like he threw his name in the hat. He probably understood what the situation was, but you've never heard him do anything really wrong or anything that should be criticized other than just having the same last name and who his dad is. So I look at it and I go, I don't even want to watch, man, because we know how this is going to go. So let's just fast track it. Let's get to the good part of the story. And let's just go to the part in the regular season where him and LeBron are on the same team together. And maybe LeBron assists him on an open jump shot.
He moves well. He moves well enough where I could actually see him in a regular season game. Now, for how long? For how long? I don't know.
He missed the second game because he's got knee swelling. We're off to a rough start. You know what I mean? Can we just get to the regular season?
Y'all be thinking I'm glass half empty, which I am. I'm going glass half full today.
Who's y'all?
Y'all.
Are you including Jonas and I in this?
Yes, you too.
Yeah.
Y'all
I haven't called you a hater.
Well, you didn't say I'm a hater per se. You just said that,
Also, can we pause because you did bring up Man earlier?
Yes,
and for this audience here at the Herd, I don't know that they know the backstory of the nickname Man or even who Man is.
Man is LaVar Arrington the second.
What up, LaVar second?
Yeah, and he committed to Penn State. He's going to go play linebacker edge at Penn State. Damn it.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, baby. But he's got a lot. I just did an interview on him this morning, and it's like – nobody knows who he is. Like they're trying. There's all these interviews requests because it's like, is he being overvalued? Is he being undervalued? What's his value in the recruiting process? What's his worth? And it's like, is that something that you guys talk about? You think about? I said that's 100% something that we thought about going into it. Man hasn't done any camps. He hasn't done any 7-on-7s. All he's done is unofficial visits. That's it. And his official visits. And the reason being is we had the opportunity a couple times to possibly take him out and send him to a bigger school. Modern Day was a school that we were thinking about doing it, but we love the development and the guidance of the head coach, Dom Farrar, that he's under now. And we felt as though him being under the radar because of his name, him being Man, so everybody calls him Man. So he wasn't being called LaVar. It's like LaVar. If it's football terms, he was Man. So nobody really knew who he was until he started getting recruited, which it worked perfectly because it kept him humble, it kept him hungry, and he was aware of the fact that he was going to have to earn everything that he got. He didn't start get recruited until this past year. Like right now, his junior year, going through his junior year, generally, if you're a top guy, you'll start getting recruited like 8th, 9th grade. So he's gone through the process the right way. So, and that's why I'm saying I can relate to the whole conversation with LeBron and Bronny at this point because I do have a second as well. And it's a hard place to be in. And you'll see Q and you'll see Jonas when your boy gets bigger. You start to have different types of emotions and feelings about what their accomplishments, what their achievements are, because you have to balance being a father, but you're also balancing trying to train them to be successful in the ways that they go about their lives and how they prepare. But then there's the fan, and you should always be your kid's biggest fan. So it's like you have to find the balancing point of not putting yourself in danger of being delusional, because you could actually be so delusional that your kid ends up being delusional. So I've always fallen on the other side of it. I've been pretty hard on them. I've been pretty hard on him. And listen, I feel like it's working. So, and I'm sure LeBron feels the same exact way about how he's approached what he's doing with Bronny. And for better or for worse, for whatever anybody may think, the guy guided his kid to a L.A. Lakers jersey. However he got there. He's in a L.A. Lakers jersey.
Yeah,
he may have.
I knew it was coming at some point. So there it is.
He might have hijacked the plane, but you know what? He flew it.
Hey, Ocean's 11. They stole pick 55.
All right. They
had all that security on pick 55. They got it.
I mean, we got here. I'm a pilot too.